Hello! You are watching Making Potions Part 11. I hear that's the sign language for 11. Welcome. My name's Renee, and hopefully you've been watching before, but if not, welcome. Um, a lot has happened. I'm still recovering from a cold, unfortunately, so you might hear me like huffing and like puffing a little. Uh, Starting with the more general things. I'm getting ready for GDC. I printed off a bunch of new business cards. They look the same as my old ones, so you can't really tell too much of a difference. Yeah, stumbling cat. I've been to numerous networking events, which is always good. Met some delightful new people. Have been talking to various audio people, etc., etc. I got the first piece of work from my environment artist, and I have been extremely pleased with it. So much that I put it in the game and probably spent too much time playing with it. But I considered that a vacation for myself while I was sick. It was not working work. And I think that's actually kind of nice to have. I do play video games, so those are often a common distraction of mine that I enjoy partaking in. And when I woke up completely blasted by a cold, like could barely swallow, snot dripping down everywhere. Beautiful image, I know. I told myself, oh, Renee, you can take a day off. Like, if you were working for a normal company, this would be called a sick day. So you don't need to work today. Why don't you log on your computer and just play video games? So on Thursday, I logged on my computer and I worked on my scene with this new art. And then on Friday, I logged on my computer and I was like, no, I'll just play video games. I ended up working most of the day. And then on Saturday, I was like, oh, it's the weekend. And I still ended up working. But it's not bad because it was invigorating work. And I don't feel like I was burning out on it. I wasn't doing full 8 hours days. I was doing like 5 to 6 hours a day. But yay, so fun stuff. So I'm trying not to beat myself up too much over the fact that it was polish work, a lot of it, whereas I'm still working on level design, so level design is really probably more important than polishing visuals. I mean, level design is more important than polishing visuals, but I have been working on level design as well, which I also want to share with you. I've run into an unfortunate problem additionally with one of the people that I'm working with. I'm not really gonna like call out anyone because, well, you guys don't even probably know who my team is. But I think it's important to discuss the ups and downs. And the downside of relying on other people when it's a personal project that you're really invested in is that they're not always going to be as reliable as you are to yourself. I mean, I can generally count on myself pretty well. I was hoping that the fact that I'm paying my team would allow for that to be minimized. But I've had communication issues with one of my teammates. They went unresponsive previously for an extended period of time, over a week, and they came back citing a medical issue. So I, didn't hold it against them. But that's happened again recently, and they only got back to me after I mentioned to a mutual friend that I was having to find a replacement. So, it's really unfortunate when things happen that way. And now that they're back with me and like I'm seeing work being produced from them for the first time in a while, it's really great, but I'm not sure I can tolerate the that sort of risk and the lack of communication, and it really sucks to have to be looking for someone else to sort of fulfill that position, because letting people, like, finding replacements is hard. Like, all of this is kind of difficult, but I wanted to share it with you guys because I wanted to share all the crap that happens in game development, and this is some crap that happens. Like, sometimes teammates just don't end up working out, and yeah, so there's that. Continuing onward. let's get into game stuff. Yay! Okay, so I'm going to be showing you kind of my initial draft of a level, and then I'll be talking to you about the many, many problems which I have discovered with it. So let's go over to Unity here. Hi, Unity. So this is the test scene that you guys are all very familiar with here in this bottom corner. This one. Yeah, there you go. This one. And then I just put my level, if you guys remember, that I drafted out on paper here. Yes. I just sort of drew that out here. I'm missing one of the mob types. I have my shooty string spiders and not my venom spiders. I haven't done the venom. But I drew out this level. Of course, I was like, all right, finally I'm going to work on level design and I don't have to get distracted by coding. And then I realized that I need to do coding to get it to work. So I created a item spawn things. So this has a loot table on it and a sprite, and it has a spawn location, and it just spawns. So if it has an item drop checked on the loot table, I changed them a little. When this item is clicked, it will spawn, it'll drop items and despawn itself. So, for example, if I click on this time bush, it dropped 2 time bundles. If I click on this mushroom, it dropped a mushroom. I can pick them up, they go in my inventory, have their normal descriptions and whatnot. And that's all good there. I also needed a mushroom monster spawner, as I have those little lovely monster mushrooms, as you could see kind of wandering on the screen there. And this works like the other monster spawner that I went over before, the tree monster spawner. So, since everything is all nice and easy to like work with, all I had to do was pull this monster spawner script onto here, toss in the mushroom mob and spawn rate chance, and the aggro range and the spawn amount is how many of them it would spawn. So now if I go over to one of these aggressive mushrooms and get within 6 of it, it spits out 3 mushrooms with half a second between each of them. Yay! So, all of those done, I threw it out onto the map here, and so I have everything like I said except for the venom spiders, and I'll just sort of show you what it feels like. So, to get out of here, since these are blocking me, I'm going to have to open this mushroom. And then I'll sprint. So here I'm flying around. Alright, there's a edge there. Oh, look! A time bush. Love time bushes. Yay. Let's sprint away some more. Woo! Oh, a monster. Yeah, screw you, monster. Another time bush. That's nice. And if you notice, that monster already stopped following me. When I was talking before about aggro and de-aggro ranges, the fact that his aggro range is right at the corner of the screen and I move so much faster than him, I never have to fight this guy. That's not a very terrifying monster. Maybe in closer quarters, back in that other room that I was testing, these guys were much more dangerous because it was hard to get away from them. But these guys pose no threat right now. Oop. Again, with these spiders, I just sort of outrange them. See, that guy's a bit faster. He can slow me. But then again, I can kind of kite him away here if I get him to follow me. Come on, spider. Nope. Come on, spider. And then I can sprint around him and go click on this time bush without really fighting at all. And I do want fighting in that to be a little bit more necessary. So I don't really like how easy it is, especially with these large levels it is, to run away from things. You see, oh look, that spawned one of those mushroom guys. I didn't even have to get too close to it to click it to realize that that's a bad mushroom. Oh gosh, alright, I'm gonna have to drink a yeah, so look, monster's even on the screen and I'm drinking potions. Oh, here we go. Mushrooms that aren't attacking me. And one to pick up from my inventory. So, overall, I find myself sprinting all the time, moving around here. The only time I let go of my sprint is to pick up things or when I'm fighting, because it sort of forces me to. You can't throw or consume items while you're sprinting. And I guess I've developed everything. This is the exit. Woo! I've developed everything on this really small start map, and it feels good on a small start map like this, but I wanted this to be an adventure crafting game, and exploring a space this large isn't very adventure-y. So I kind of made a mistake by making my monsters fun to fight in this block if I want to have an open level. Now, if I want to have basically rooms of levels of approximately this size, then that's going to be much easier to deal with. But having a physics up there, but having a large layout like I designed of this level, the way that sprinting all the time like feels mandatory to make travel all right. The fact that monsters are really easy to get away from is kind of crappy feeling. I mean, maybe this is good for a starting level, but I don't think it would work great overall. So I'm considering forcing things to move slower. I'm considering having a sprint limit. So like, yes, there's still a mount time, but you can only sprint for like like probably 3 or 4 seconds. You can't just run around the screen all the time. Like if you want to run away and then pause till you sprint again and then run again, perhaps you could use that. But the feel of the only time you're not sprinting is when you're fighting makes fighting feel slower and duller than zipping around the world. So that's an issue. I'm wondering if adjusting all movement speeds or increasing the camera distance, having things be more zoomed out and smaller. This is, for this type of game, I mean, though I really like the detail here. Go away. Though I like the detail, you know, this is pretty close. The camera's pretty close to all of these objects here. So there's definitely a lot of things that I need to play with in regards to that, and that's what I'm going to be doing. And I would love your feedback. So if you have feedback on how you think that I could make this more fun to play, this level more fun to play, I would love to hear it. And if you're really cool, I'll even send you a build so you can criticize it. Yay! Well, so that was a little disappointing, but good. I mean, I think that I've been decent at identifying issues with it. I'm willing to critique it and not say, "Oh, yeah, this level's great." So that's great. Let me go back to camera while I switch over here. So the other thing that I did was use that wonderful environment art from my environment artist and set up the home scene. Well, I guess I could have gone to it from there. Oh well, I'm going to open it separately. Save. And in the home scene, as you recall before, it was just sort of it was just like a blank page that had 4 buttons. One said crafting, one said equipment, one said grandma, and one said exit, like to town, and that brought me back to the main scene. So I've implemented the same thing, but it looks pretty. I know, it's crazy. And I will go over kind of how I did that, all using the UI. So let's go over here to Unity. Oh, look! Isn't that not beautiful? Oh, this is gorgeous. Like, look at this. There's a bookcase and like eyeballs and like herbs and garlic and other items and a boiling cauldron and sort of like a fun chemistry-esque set here and a runic book and the chairs and things like that. So I realized that I wasn't particularly clear with my environment artist in regards to how separate I needed things to be. Like, so he had to do additional work in order to fully pull this cauldron out without molesting the bookcase behind it. He had lovely drawn like smoky particle green stuff over it before, and so he gave me the background with a big chunk of the bookcase missing. I also didn't tell him that I could put in particle effects myself, so he's drawn this beautiful fire, which I like, and I kind of like these particles already being set in here. But with the cauldron, it was a little bit too much for me to bring to life. Um, so I got to throw in a bunch of particle effects. I started with them being default particles because I had no clue what I was doing. So the default particles are, oh, I can pull some up here. Um, Cauldron particles. Yeah, so these are default particles. If we look at them here. I'm doing a lot to these. They start larger, they go smaller as they wink out. They kind of wink out they decrease in size differently, they start at different sizes, and that's all by playing with these particle system effects. So with the color over lifetime, it's that I'm slowly making them more transparent. So they fade out a little bit better. You can see that being here. Oh, they fade in and then fade out. The shape is what's projecting them. I just have a cone projecting them. The size over lifetime is a distance between, or is between two curves. So with this being the max size, and this being invisible, nothing, I picked a curve, so that means one of them, any of them are going to start here and then sort of follow down. So that's why you have this variety of sizes. Yay! And so this is just, yeah, the default particle render. Now I was using this particle for everything for fire, for the cauldron, and it looked alright. I mean, it looked fine, but then I finally looked up tutorial videos and realized it's really easy to put new textures in your game. So I found free to use texture images and I am using them. So in my materials here, I suddenly have, oh, and I made them. So this is a flame that I'm using for my fire. This is a green bubble which I drew, and this is a green bubble half which I drew as well. Yes, I can draw and paint things. Took me probably far too long, but I have them. Same colors as the cauldron, you will be seeing them. And then I did some smoke ones, which basically are the same. Those are the same, actually. Now, with all of these assets combined and proper layering, I got beautiful things. Now, for the layering itself, I'm just using a main camera, which the canvas projects on is this screen space camera thing here. And then sorry, I heard a weird noise, it was scary. Then I have a panel which has these buttons of each attached to them. Oh, and the buttons themselves have two images. They have the base image of them, and then the button has a sprite swap to a highlighted version. So I have a chair highlighted in a chair, and you'll see when I hit play and highlight over things how that works. You can do all sorts of button animations, but this just makes things look like glow because there's two sprites. Anyway. For the particles, to layer them properly, I had to create a particle orderer script. It's pretty damn simple. If we go over here to Visual Studio, it just actually just sets the sorting layer to the main sorting layer. That's it. Yay! Back to Unity. So I have a bunch of different particles here. I will show you those. But each of them individually has to have that particle orderer script on them. And then the foreground here is set to the foreground layer versus the main layer that the particles are on. And then the panel is differently. Where is it? Yeah, the panel has this background image as well. So, before I ramble too much about this, let me show you what this looks like. Oh, and I added sound. I guess you can hear that. So I have two different smoke particles coming up through here. This bar and this cage, I guess, are sprites in front. I had just the cage itself as a sprite, but in order to get the fire down low here, I noticed that during resizing and other things, there was also issues with this fire particle coming out a little bit with the floor, so I took a piece of the floor, so Some of this floor is actually attached to an image here, this cage. I did the same with the cauldron. I cut out a piece of the cauldron here and made it another front layer image so that I could have my bubbles and my glow not glow too much over this lip here. You see, look at my bubbles. So if you notice with the bubbles, they do this sort of popping thing. They get a little smaller and then they get bigger and fade away, like they're probably poof, poof, poof. And of course they have varying sizes, varying speeds going on as well. Nice little normal particle glow here, particles there. And the particles that I've received the most compliments on are ones that I really didn't think about too much. If you notice, I have a sunbeam here, and you'll see occasionally like little pieces of dust sort of move across the sunbeam. And a little bit out of the scene here too. I haven't fixed that yet. Shh. But here it is. This is my game. Doesn't this look beautiful and sound awesome? I'm just so excited. I know that some of you might have already seen this because I posted a little video about it as soon as it was done, but it's great and I'm so excited. Unfortunately, it's a little jarring when you are in this beautiful scene and then you click on the cauldron and you get this. Oh god, nothing's scaling properly. It's all drawn terribly. But if you go back to the home, yay! It's so nice. And you go out to the town, yay! Then back to the home, yay! So hopefully I can get all of my game up to this level of quality in regards to looks and sounds and everything. And yay! So let me do my quick little wrap up here. I could watch that all day. I've cut back on doing the held item limits and exploratory crafting. I think the aggro versus de-aggro range, at least from my playtesting there, is going to be really important. So that's one of the things I need to implement next. I'm going to try adjusting movement speeds, adjusting the camera view distance, implementing a sprint limit, and putting in dots. I have a buff system that works, but I don't think the buff system in its current state will work for dots, and I might just implement dots as their own system or figure out how to use those so I can do Venom. So thanks for tuning in. It was much fun as always, and I hope to talk to you guys soon. I will try to do one more video before I go to GDC, which is going to then have a post video, which hopefully will be like, everyone loved my game and threw money at me, so we're gonna be well funded and I can just hire everyone full time. Probably not gonna be the story, but hopefully somewhere closer to those lines. Anyway, bye! Thank you for listening and have a great day.